Hello and welcome to the Grit YouTube channel. I recently had a client come to me about pain in his hip flexor and his quad. I wanted to compile a list of 4 exercises, stretches, for him to do to alleviate that tightness across his hip. I realize that this is a very common problem because oftentimes people are more sedentary than they care to be. Whether you're bound to a wheelchair, have an office job, or just have a more sedentary lifestyle, being in the seated position shortens our hip flexors. Therefore, a lot of us need to be stretching them. I hope you follow along with these 4 stretches, and if you're unable to do the 2 standing stretches, they can be adapted to seated exercises as well. Thanks for coming to my channel. First hip flexor stretch is turning to the side, so you're on the edge of your chair, taking that front leg down. Take your time, really tuck it underneath. The further back you can go, the better, like you're going to kneel. But if you can only get it to about here, that's fine too, because it'll be tight, that's what we're stretching. And then leaning back. If you need to hold on, you can, but you should feel this in your hip flexor and your quad. Leaning back. Again, the further you have it tucked back, the more stretch you will feel. And then it looks the same on the other side. Obviously one side is going to look a little bit different than the other. Leaning back and feeling that stretch through your quad and your hip flexor. Just right here. You should feel a stretch. And this is a hip stretch that we always do, but it's crossing your ankle on top of this knee, leaning forward, and you feel the stretch in your bent leg, the hip that's attached to your bent leg. Leaning forward, you'll feel it back here in your hip. So I know we have stiffness going on in our thighs and our hip flexors, but sometimes that comes from stiffness in the muscles in the hip and the back, which is what we're stretching here. So lean forward. We do this one a lot, but that's stretching the back of the hip. It's harder than some of the other ones. You want to have your hand on something nearby. You're going to cross your feet and then lean, and you'll feel a stretch. So you're leaning, you're creating this curvature from that back leg curve. You feel it in your hip and your side. Of course, this is going to be harder for you on one side than the other, and if you needed to hold on like this, you could. So I'll show you the other side, crossing one foot behind the other and leaning. Again, we're trying to create that crescent moon shape and stretching this hip and your side. And again, you can hold on with either hand. Be careful with that one. Just standing with your feet really spread apart. And when I mean really spread apart, I want it to be so you have to hold on in order to get your feet that spread. Once you're here, you're going to bend your front knee and lean back. So that's stretching the back leg, the back hip flexor, the back calf. Hand on. If you create that arch in your back, stretch your hips. And just like everything else, you'll do it on the other side as well. Stretch. So this is stretching this back leg's hip flexor. And all of these you're going to hold somewhere between 30 seconds and 1 minute.